And now I will sort in descending order, and what we see is, Greater Lisbon, of course, has the most, followed by Porto and so on. But that quickly, again, it went through, 278 records and collapsed them down by regions. And let's say we decide, instead of having the sub-region, I'm going to take that back out, and I really want the region instead. So again, that quickly I can go in and make a new table. The power of doing this kind of thing for a journalist, I know how much work is required in a newsroom. You don't have time to, to do lots of research and so on. But the power of being able to do this with data in a spreadsheet is you can very quickly turn it into data that is useful. Okay. I can't think offhand of any other particular thing to show you with this, but I do want to show you one other table where we'll do a couple of things as well. So I'm going to get rid of that, and let's go into here, and this data. This is from your auto safety agency. And again, they have very good information. They're collecting it. They produce it as reports. In fact, they have a different report for each sort of major region of the country, done each year since back in the year 2000. So there's like 11 years worth of reports, for each region, each area, and so on. And this is the data that is in there. It lists the Conselho, is that pronounced right? Conselho, council region, I guess, okay? The date and hour of the accident, how many people died, how many people were injured seriously, and the place it occurred, which roadway it happened on, okay? Somebody tell me a journalistically interesting question to ask of data like this. What would go into a story?
The most deadly streets of the world.
There it is, right? That would be something. Wouldn't it be interesting, in fact, to have a map of Lisbon with red dots showing the places where people have died and where they're clustered and so on. Something like that, I think, would be really something to get. But yeah, we want to know, where's the place that has had the most accidents? We want to know questions like, how many people died? Other things. I'm always, pardon? The hour, the time, exactly right. When are you more likely to have these kinds of accidents? Does it happen during the day? Does it happen at night? Which day of the week is another thing that you might want to ask. And you can get that, because this is that information is in Excel. You can see this thing. This happened on, as near as I can tell, January 3rd, 2010. This is all 2010 data, by the way. And it happened at 2300 hours, right around 11 o'clock at night. So the first thing I'm going to do, so we can answer some of those questions, is I'm going to use an Excel function that will pull the day of the week out of the actual date. So we're going to call it weekday. And in fact, there is a function called weekday, though I'm sure it's different in Portuguese. But weekday, open parentheses, and I tell it I want to pull the weekday out of B2. Now hit enter. And it's going to give me a number between 1 and 7. 1 is Sunday, 2 is Monday, 3 is Tuesday, etc. Okay? So I'm going to copy these down. And we can see, so there are a whole bunch of different days. And I also want to know the hour. That was an excellent question. So hour that these happened. And there is an Excel function called hour. Probably hora in Portuguese. So again, I point back to this date and time. So the 23rd hour of a Sunday is when this happened. And I copy that down. So I have all those hours as well. Okay? So now I have enough information to start answering some of these kinds of questions. One thing I want to do, you notice when I scroll down, the variable names disappear. Here's a little trick you can do. If you put your cursor in cell A2, go under Window, and go to Freeze Panes, See, it gets to be a dark line there. Now when I scroll down, the top stays up there, which makes it a lot easier to work. First, let's see how many accidents we have. So I'm scrolling down, scrolling down. Whoa, they're dying all over the place. Okay, and here we go. Hold on a minute. We can't even get to the bottom. Now let's try this. Here we go. So here we had a total at least of 382 accidents. Why not 383? The first row, remember, is variable names. Okay, so even though we're on row 383, the first row is actually the variable names. So let's see if we can get some answers out of this data. I think the first thing I want to know is what's the total number of people who had died. So I'm going to use that function, sum of C2 colon C383. So we had 94 deaths out of these nearly 400 accidents, and 351 people seriously injured. And again, remember, this is just in Lisbon area. There's these same kind of reports for all the other cities around. Now, it makes no sense to add up the weekdays or anything like that. Those actually stand for different things. But let's now answer some of those questions, and we're going to do that with with pivot tables. Okay. Again, to do a pivot table, you make sure you have your cursor somewhere in the data. If you're off to the side like this, and you try to do a pivot table, it won't know what you're doing. In fact, I'll show you. I go over there, I do data, I go to pivot table, and it doesn't know, there's nothing in location. It doesn't even know what you're talking about. But if you're over here in the data, you can see it knows what you're talking about. So I tell it OK. And once again, I want to make a report. Whoops. Sorry about that. Did it come back? Give it a second to find itself. There we go. OK. So we want to make a table that will answer our question, and we'll go to your question first. What hour of the day had the most accidents? Okay, and so we go down to hour. I'm going to put that in row labels. So now I see a row for each one of those, and let's get deaths. So which ones produce the most deaths? I'm going to put that in values. Okay, so all of a sudden we can look and see what the pattern is. Which hour had the most deaths?
3 p.m.
3 p.m., 3 in the afternoon. Why is that?
After lunch.
After lunch, right. Everybody's had a nice long lunch, a vino, all that kind of thing. Could be, I don't know. Once again, the data will not tell you why. All it does is lead to reasons to go do a story, but looking at that. But boy, that does pretty much raise some eyebrows. And there's some other high spots too, like right around midnight. When is that? Well, the bars are closing and people are going home. Okay?
Too early for that.
Too early? Okay. I'll take your word for it.
People aren't tired.
They're not tired yet? Okay, right.
At midnight they're sleeping.
Okay. Yeah, well, say, here's 5 in the morning and so on is there.
Yes.
Okay, that might be good. But let's try day of the week and see what we get. So I'm going to take, whoops, wait a minute, not that. What am I trying to do? Oh, I'll take it out here. Okay, I'm going to take hour out, and I'm going to put weekday in. Which day kills the most people? 7. What is 7? Saturday, sábado. Okay. Why is everybody dying on Saturday?
Bars.
The bars, it's holiday, you're not at work, that kind of thing. Everybody's having fun, going out. And a lot of deaths on Sunday also, but I suspect a lot of those are in fact probably right after midnight. Right, it's early morning. So, that's obviously the time to be particularly careful. And it looks like, what is it, Monday, Tuesday? It looks like Wednesday, you're the safest. Yes, yeah, sort of the middle of the week, nobody is yet doing too much. Okay? Let's see what else we can pull out of this. Let's try this. I'm going to put Weekday is a column label, so we get the same numbers across, but then I'm going to put hour down here. Whoops, no, that's not what I wanted. Let me go back here. I'm going to put hour as a row label. Now what we have is we can look both at the day and the hour and see which is the absolutely most dangerous time. Well, here is, here's our 10 at 1500 hours, but we find that actually one of the times where he had 3 deaths was on Sunday, afternoon. What is that? People coming back from holiday maybe, or something like that. Very good, okay. The Benfica crowd, the Benfica death, soccer. Right, okay, exactly, right. No, I figured that. I've heard all about Benfica from Antonio. So yes, that absolutely could be that. You know, everybody in the stands drinking and so on. So. How can you show it? Well, that's a good question. This particular thing would be hard to look at, but let's go back to the, let's try, let's do this.
You could try feridos and injured and dead people at the same time.
Right, let's put it all together. Yeah, because that's actually the total number of casualties.